Hi. This week on the Heroes, Villains, and Sidekicks show, we'll be exploring the origin of one of the Avengers' greatest heroes, Vision. And that's what we'll be doing on the Heroes, Villains, and Sidekicks show. We'll be learning and talking about the origin and backstories of heroes, villains, and sidekicks throughout the comic book universe and pop culture. We'll look at popular characters, and we'll look at some obscure characters that you may have never heard of, but I think you'll dig. And for this podcast, like all the others, we'll be talking about the character's origin and some of the current storylines he's in, so there will be spoilers in this episode. And there are, of course, many different origin stories, revamps. We're going to be looking at the original origin story and some of the other sort of deviated stories about his origin throughout the comic book universe. But we're pretty much going to be concentrating on his initial origins, and we're also going to be talking this week a little bit about the latest series, Vision, that came out that is just incredible. So let's get into it. The backstory of Vision. Now, the Vision has quite the long history. He actually was created by Joe Simon and Jack Kirby way back in 1940, and it first appeared in Marvel Mystery Comics number 13. Now, this isn't the Vision we know of today, but this is really where he started. Like so many Golden Age heroes, the Vision was brought back in the 60s. And this synthesoid version of the Vision was created by Stan Lee and Roy Thomas back in 1968 and first appeared in the Avengers number 57 with a striking cover by John Buscema. Ultron, the homicidal robot and creation of Dr. Hank Pym, believes he can destroy the Avengers, and to do it he must destroy them from the inside. He decides to create an android. Go with what you know, right? And this deadly android creation he will use to infiltrate the Avengers and destroy them from the inside. But here's the thing, Ultron just can't create his ultimate weapon. With all that he can do, and he just does not seem to be able to create an android, which is really kind of silly if you think of it. Okay, so he does the next best thing. He kidnaps the inventor of the Golden Age Human Torch, Professor Phineas Horton. Now, way back in the 1940s, Horton created a synthetic man to be the benefit of all mankind, but there was a wee flaw in his design. When the Human Torch was exposed to air, he burst into flames. So using the Golden Age Human Torch as his building block, he forces Horton to help him create his ultimate weapon, the android that will be known as Vision. Now, Horton could not bring himself to wipe away the memories and essence of the original Human Torch, and Ultron was not pleased when his creation woke up and remembered who he was, the Human Torch. This does not go well for Horton. Ultron kills Horton, and when Vision tries to stop him, Ultron pretty much shuts him off so he can hit the reset button. This time around, Ultron makes sure he's working with a clean slate and deletes the Human Torch's memories. But his empty husk needs something to drive it. It needs brain patterns as a form of software, I guess. Ultron decides to use the brain patterns of deceased Simon Williams, the ionically charged superhero known as Wonder Man. Now, I'm not sure why he would put the brain patterns of a superhero into something you're creating for an evil purpose, but who am I? And this time he wasn't taking any chances. He made sure to implant the Vision with a chip he could use to control the Vision in case things got away from him. And you really wouldn't want this weapon to get away from you. The Vision is a pretty powerful character with a host of abilities, which include superhuman agility, intelligence, strength, and speed, flight, density control, intangibility, shape-shifting, mass manipulation, regeneration, and solar energy projection. Any one of those would make him quite the formidable hero, but all of them together, he is a force to be reckoned with. With his new weapon reformatted and powered up, Ultron sends Vision to the Avengers Mansion to lull them into a trap where he can destroy them. The first Avenger that the Vision runs into is the Wasp, who looks upon his face in terror and describes him as a Vision. And yes, as you might have guessed, that's where he took his name from. Now, the Avengers battle with Vision, and in the end, convince him to join them in battling Ultron. They defeat Ultron, I'm doing air quotes here, and the Vision joins the Avengers. And this pattern kind of repeats itself through his time in the Avengers. He's taken over by an evil time traveler or a bad guy, or just, of course, there's that pesky Ultron that just keeps popping up. We also learn that the Vision synthetic body was not that of the original Golden Age Human Torch. The Avengers later are told that the Time Lord Immortus used the power of the Forever Crystal to split the original Human Torch into two entities. One body remained the original Human Torch, while Ultron rebuilt the other as Vision. Like I said, he's got quite the background. Whenever you start bringing in Immortus and time travel and Golden Age, you're in for a treat as far as these origins go, because they can get pretty wacky. Now, to spice things up, the writers introduce Wanda Maximoff, the Scarlet Witch, to be a love interest for the Vision. The two fall in love and marry in Giant Size Avengers 4, and sometime after, using her unpredictable hex powers, they are able to conceive twin boys they name Thomas and William. But wedded bliss for the couple is short-lived when their children are revealed not to be flesh and blood, but fragments of Mephisto. When they are absorbed back into Mephisto, essentially killing them, Wanda loses her mind and is driven insane. I believe this is the first time Wanda is driven insane. It will happen again and often. Both Wanda and Vision go through some pretty rough times, each losing their minds, trying to take over the world, and even destroying the Avengers Mansion. When both are brought back from the edge of insanity, they cannot reconcile and they separate. The Vision goes through many iterations as his story continues through the Marvel U. He is destroyed and rebuilt, he has emotions and he doesn't. He does not have it easy. But in the end, he always comes back to his core concept, and that is one of the most powerful and interesting characters in the Marvel U. And we're going to take a quick break from our story and hear from our sponsor, Discount Comic Book Service, DCBService.com. Now, this is a service where you order your comics, they come minimum 40% off. Now, I've been using these guys for years, early 2000. Get my books every time in perfect shape. You can either go to the site and you can order through their website, or you can go to their site and download an Excel sheet that matches up with Preview's catalog, what Diamond puts out for you to order your books. And that's what I do. I download the Excel sheet, I use the Preview's catalog that I get from DCB Service, and I order my books. And you just put a little 1 next to the thing. I'm looking at my Excel sheet right now for October, and there are some incredible sales as usual. Like, here's one. The Discount Comic Book Service has got the DC Universe Rebirth bundle number 1 for 50% off. So that is all of these titles in the DC Rebirth series. So it's Action Comics 961, Action Comics 970, Aquaman 12, Aquaman 13, Batman 12. Ton of comics, 19 books, half off right off the bat. Then they've got different bundles. They've got the new Justice League Suicide Squad number 1 for 50% off. All these things 50% off. So if we take a look at my order, my final order, and it looks like I have 24 books that if you were to buy them at your local, it would be $83.78. And my discount, since they're 40 to 50% off, was $35. So that brings my subtotal to $48.78. Now there is a shipping fee, and it's a $6.95 shipping fee, and that's to get your books monthly. If you want them every 2 weeks or weekly, shipping is a little bit more. I've been finding monthly works out just fine for my schedule. So at the end, 24 books, because one of them was previews, is $55.73 instead of $83.78. Now that's a huge savings. Again, I've been using them for years, perfectly shipped, wrapped tight, a lot of padding, never had a problem. So check it out, Discount Comic Book Service, DCBService.com. Now, I'm kind of selfish in my choices when deciding who I'll be talking about here on the podcast. And with the Vision, that holds true. I love this character, his personality, the suit, the powers, and how the writers get to play with the idea of self. Who is Vision? Is he just the engrams of Wonder Man? Is he the Golden Age Human Torch? Is he a blend? Is he grown past his programming and is he something else? Or is he just a bunch of circuits and biomatter that mimics humanity really well? Is he just advanced AI and nothing else? I love when they play with this idea. But what really made me want to talk about the Vision is his latest book, written by Tom King and drawn by Gabriel Hernandez Walta and colored by Jordi Belair. It is fantastic. It'll be running only 12 issues as Tom has moved over to DC, but it is one of the most compelling stories I have ever read in comics. Part of it is due to the art and the coloring just working so well together with the story. I follow artists, I follow colorists, and when you have a colorist and an artist working this well together, bringing the emotion, bringing the story along, and really adding that emotional depth to the story, it's really just incredible. And the way that King builds the characters and structures the story with this unseen and unknown narrator is just incredible. Now, I'm not going to do any spoilers with this latest series because I want you to go in fresh. It's just amazing, and it's just a beautiful read. Now, it already is up to issue 12, so you could either go and pick them up in back issues, or you could get the trade when it comes out. But this is a book you really want to read, even if you're not, into the Vision or the Avengers. It is just a well-crafted story. Now, I'm not going to do any spoilers, but I am going to whet your appetite here with what Marvel put out about the series. And it reads, "The Vision wants to be human, and what's more human than family? He goes to the laboratory where he was created, where Ultron molded him into a weapon, where he first rebelled against his given destiny, where he first imagined that he could be more, that he could be good, that he could be a man, a normal, ordinary man. And he builds them, a wife, Virginia, 2 teenage twins, Viv and Vin. They look like him. They have his powers. They share his grandest ambition, or perhaps obsession, the unrelenting need to be ordinary. Behold the Visions. They're the family next door, and they have the power to kill us all. What could possibly go wrong?" So if you end up picking up these issues or the trade, and you like King's work, he is just incredible. He's one of my new favorites. He's currently the writer of the new Batman and his own creator series, Sheriff of Babylon, which is simply incredible. They're hard to find. You can get the trades, but the individual issues will be tough. It's just great stuff all around. So this week I want to add something new to the show and share some recommended reading that features the Vision. Now, most of these can be picked up in trade, or they can be bought digitally through Comixology, and I'll have links in the show notes where you can pick these up. So here they are. Avengers 57 and 58, Origin Story. Avengers Disassembled 500, Giant-Sized Avengers number 4. Vision and Scarlet Witch 1 through 4. West Coast Avengers 42 through 45. And of course, the latest Vision 1 through 12. Now, these are all great reads. Like me, if you want to read some of these and you don't want to sort of go out there and try to find the trades, a lot of times for the stuff that I'm using for research, I'll just get the digital copies. I am lucky enough to have some of the original copies of some of these books. So since I'm not a big Avengers collector, I didn't have a lot of these. So I just went ahead and went to Comixology and or Amazon and picked up the digital downloads for these. And they worked out really well. So if you want to learn more about the Vision, you want to read more about the Vision, go ahead and click on those links in the show notes, or just go ahead and pick up these books somewhere. I want to thank you for listening to this week's episode of the Heroes, Villains, and Sidekicks show. Our theme music is by Broke for Free. You can find links to other music from the show on our website, heroesvillainandsidekicks.com, where you can listen to the show, subscribe via iTunes or whichever player you use. And if you have a chance, please leave a rating for us on iTunes when you subscribe and download the show. It would really help us out. If you've listened to the previous show, you know that I changed the name of the podcast after I royally screwed up. And some positive reviews on the old iTunes would be great right now. And if you have any recommendations on heroes or villains or sidekicks, just head over to the site and leave a comment. Again, I want to thank you for listening, and we'll be back next week. Take care.